We're here at Kimbolton in Cambridgeshire for the 21st running of the Maxis TKM Festival, the scene of some of the greatest kart races in history. So Graham, 21st year of the TKM Festival. Anything changed for this year?
Well, we've got a very successful format which we've developed over the years, and we are keeping the fundamentals of it exactly the same. A couple of new features we've got for the clubman drivers. We've got now an F plate, F for Festival, that they can win, so they can use that plate when they're racing at circuits like Shennington and Rissington, Kimbolton and so forth. Aside from that, the features of the racing are exactly the same. We've not changed the format, but we are putting a lot of accent this weekend on the rolling starts. We've been clamping down on a trick some drivers play at the front, which is to literally squeeze the petrol pipe so there's virtually no fuel going through, so they can drive very slowly. It causes chaos behind. We clamped down a couple of weeks ago, and this time we've laid out, for the first time ever for drivers in karting, we've laid out a format of the speed they should be doing, etc., etc. And from what we saw in the initial heats, it's certainly working very well. Everyone's behaving themselves very nicely.
I'm smiling because I seem to remember we used to do that. Let's talk a little bit about, I don't like to bat on about Abby pulling all the time, but since the festival last year, and she had a great festival last year, of course, we know that she's gone on to win the British Championships. She's leading the British Championships with a big lead now, this year as well. So your impressions of Abby? I know she's supported by Talco, gets a little bit of support from Alan Turney. It's not the same sort of relationship we used to have with maybe James Bean, but a little bit of support, as some of the other drivers do as well. And I know from experience that anybody that has an issue, if they're in TKM, you've got an issue, you go to Alan Turney at the meeting, he'll help you out. But what do you make of Abby's success last year?
Well, last year she did the impossible really, which was to win everything here and the national championship. So a tremendous drive. Here, from what I've seen in qualifying so far, she's been extremely quick, very relaxed and very confident out there on the circuit. I'm sure we're going to see her featuring right up at the front. Whether she wins, who knows, because there are a lot of very, very quick and experienced people there. But she's an astonishingly good driver. She's very relaxed at the wheel and does a super job, and you rarely see her put a foot wrong. So that's the way you win championships and you win titles.
Yeah, and you say she'll be under pressure, lots of competition, lots of experience. The other thing about this class, I've been saying for the last few years to people that will listen, people talk about we need a level playing field in karting. I've been saying, well, we've got a level playing field in karting. It's TKM. Look at the close nature of the racing. And an example of that this year, I think, is somebody like Oliver Richardson in Super 1 came in. He's done his time in club meetings, comes into Super 1 as an absolute rookie and has been really on it. He's right at the front of the field, challenging for, he's had a race win. It's quite amazing, but it does represent, I think, that the close nature of the equipment, doesn't it?
Yes, I mean the racing's incredibly close. You're talking fractions for big differences in terms of the grid. Time qualifying in the extreme category, there was something like 40 karts within half a second. So you find a tenth of a second, you've probably moved up 3 or 4 rows on the grid, kind of thing. It's very, very, very competitive. We've seen 1 or 2 people have problems in qualifying. Zach Oates, for example, had a big problem in his first qualifying session, so he's right at the back, so he's got to keep coming through in the heats. But he is very, very quick, and I'd say Zach Oates, he won the E-plate a couple of weeks ago. He's very, very quick, and he's going to be quite definitely a front runner for top titles here. Yes, of new people coming through. I mean, there are always new drivers coming through, people who've not been to Kim Bolton before and so on. They're doing very well. The level of competition is extremely high, very close, and you see a packed grid go out, 34 karts or whatever, and they are in one long traffic jam all the way around the circuit. It's that close, so very competitive, as always in TKM.
Yeah, and 165 entries this year. That's huge for a one-make series. We've just had Kartmasters a few weeks ago, 195 entries, but that's with 7 classes. This is just basically the TKM senior and junior classes. Huge grid.
Yeah, huge grids, capacity grids in the extreme, very big grids in the juniors, and in the O plates, and for juniors and seniors, well, obviously they have a separate grid for that. They race quite separately. And of course we've got this unique thing where drivers can race in both the festival category and in the O plate category. So you've got some drivers who are racing in both. You've got some drivers who are just coming here trying to win the O plate, so they're just doing the O plate races. So they can put their feet up a bit more. The drivers doing both obviously get a lot more track time and a lot more opportunity to learn the little tricks on the circuit. But of course they are using separate tyres, so they're not on the same tyres, they're not wearing them out. So it all adds some different things in, as does the weather. You know, we've just had probably one of the best summers there's been, but now the weather seems to have broken, and we had beautiful weather for time qualifying, but now we've got grey skies and spits of rain, so it could completely change everything with the conditions changing like that.
Yeah, it could be an interesting dynamic, the weather. We'll see what happens during the day. One of the greatest ever kart races here, of course, in 2013, that junior TKM final, amazing race. I'm thinking we might get some more this weekend, and certainly the weather. That could throw a little bit of a spanner in the works.
Yeah, well, they've been lucky in a way, because on Friday in testing we had dry weather and we had wet weather, so everyone's had a chance to drive the circuit in dry and wet conditions. So it's given them a great opportunity to learn it in every sort of facet from dry to wet. So it should put them in good stead for today.
In junior TKM, one young man, hopefully you'll see this weekend, is Ben Higgins. His dad, if you're fans of the James Bond movies, this is a man you want to talk to about that, because he's the man that you see driving all the stunt cars. Mark Higgins, and obviously your brother Dave.
Yep.
Higgins family, well known in rallying. You're doing British Rallycross, I think, at the moment.
Yeah, we are for the first time this year. I've done rallying for sort of 25 years. We're still doing quite a bit of film work. Just came back from a film yesterday. And yeah, we're doing the British Rallycross Championship, which has been really good fun, to be honest. So 600 horsepower, 6 people on the grid, and it all happens quite quickly.
Yeah, and Ben, you've been racing, I think, for 2 years. So you're what, 11 now?
13.
13 now. So started at 11 then. And the interesting thing about that is that's quite late to be starting, but how much of that, Mark, is because of your commitments? It's difficult for you, because I know you're here today, You're getting your hands dirty, which is great to see. Somebody, you know, you're not just paying somebody to do the mechanicking, you're doing it all yourself. How much of the fact that Ben's not been racing has been down to your commitments over the years?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I flew back in sort of yesterday just to come down and do this. We do what we can, but we don't get him out very often, to be honest. And, you know, I think he's done really well for the little time he's had in the karts. We start with cadets. It's a great weekend for us to spend some time together and play around, out of the way of the sort of professional scene that we do with the rallying. And yeah, we have a great weekend, and you know, it's just nice to see him progress and enjoy it with the other boys.
Okay, and Ben, this weekend, how are you looking so far?
We're looking okay this weekend. I think we're in top 10 most of our finishes so far, which is all right. Got today, obviously, but yeah, we're doing all right.
And where do you normally race in club meetings? Is it Hooton Park, Glanny Gorse?
Usually we do Shenny, so we're doing the Shenny Championship at the moment. So yeah, that's what we're doing at the moment, trying to do all the rounds so we can get a good score in the championship. Yeah.
My year's based around his karting now, pretty well. That's our holidays.
Right, yeah. And I'll ask you this as well. I'll ask this a lot of professional drivers. Do you prefer racing yourself, or do you prefer watching him race?
I really enjoy watching him now, to be honest. You know, I've had 25 years of it, and I love the rallying, which is different, because when I crash, it's my fault. It's not somebody else's. That's the only problem with racing. But definitely, yeah, no, I really enjoy this. But better get going now.
Okay. Good luck, guys.
Yeah.
Arrived at the grid a little bit late, I think. May have been my fault. Here's the grid for the race that Ben is in. It's the Junior TKM Festival Cup. Here's the grid positions, Jake.
James Barty alongside Charlie Gaillard from Saunders and Harrison, with Baxter and Jarmisty, Flynn, Pritchard, Bennett and Johnson rounding out the top 10. This is going to be a tough race win for whoever gets there first. It'll be an intense battle between drivers, very closely matched indeed. Away we go down to the first corner into Stowe, and it is the 74 who hits the front. 12 minutes plus 1 lap of this, and we've seen many times before in this Festival Cup race that this is the last chance for drivers in the weekend, the TKM Festival, to redeem themselves. So we're going to see some choice battles, but it's Gaillard still in front from James Barty as they pit their way through Derek's corner and up towards Dan Weldon, the double right apex. Barty all over the back of Gaillard at the start of it, and this is going to be an interesting one for the third place driver, Joe Harrison, the 64, trying to make his impression already as up the inside. A good battle already between these three. Is that Harrison through? No, he's not quite able to get there, but as they come off the final turn, the top three remain unchanged, but there's promise of plenty of squabbles to come.
Was Jack Saunders, I think it was, looking in Kimbolton corner up the inside for fourth place. It was fifth, yet through to fourth place now as he went into Kimbolton corner. That's a classic overtaking opportunity. You'll see plenty of that this weekend, I'm sure.
Yeah, he made a nice move there on Jarmisty to get into P4 as they make their way through to Derek's once again. Left and right, flicking off the turn and up towards Dan Weldon corner. Is this a move from Barty? He's not quite close enough yet to make the move. Tom Johnson tumbling down the order by the look of it. I wonder if that's a transponder issue though.
I think it is a transponder issue.
Yeah, because he's still in position, so Tom Johnson, that will be corrected. There it is. So he's there just on the outskirts of the top 10 in 8th position at the moment as they come onto the Hind straight once again. Fantastic, this sophisticated new tag system. Up the inside, that is a beautiful lunge from Barty, and that's going to leave the door wide open for Harrison. He's through into the lead. I thought he was going to be into second, but he's going to get through for first position as well onto the grass. That is a big moment there for Barty, I think it was. So Barty, unfortunately, no, it's Gaillard. It's Gaillard who went. My apologies. So Gaillard is down. Barty has managed to save his bacon there in second position. Tagging onto the back of them now is the 32 of Jack Saunders. So he's there in third from Jarmisty. Then it is the 84 of Katie Pritchard, leading novice in this race, up in P5.
Gaillard, as you can see, guys, on the left of your screen, has tumbled all the way down to the back of the field. He was at the front of the field, leading it early on, but not now. He's gone.
Very interesting defensive line from Harrison now in front us up the inside. That's a bold move from William Baxter, and he goes up a place on the 93 of Jarmisty, so that puts him into P4. The top three are battling away, but you can see there's a very interesting defensive line from Harrison. He's not exactly defending as such, but he's carrying a very different line from the other drivers. As up the inside, Barty desperately trying to make a window to come through and take the place, but that's good driving from Harrison. He keeps the car just over the line enough to stop the move from Barty, but in third place, Saunders is still all over the back, trying to make a way through from Baxter, Jarmisty, and then Pritchard in sixth position in front of Tom Johnson. The 11 is next. That is Spencer Lane, another of the novices, and then 20 is there in ninth place. That's Ashley Turner in front of John Daniels on the 27. Really exciting battle from fourth down. It's still very open, but it looks like the victory is going to be played out between these three. Harrison, Barty and Saunders up front. Baxter still trying to hang on in front of Jarmisty, but there's 0.3 of a second between these three as they come across the line. Derek's corner into Dan Weldon, the double right hand apex, and then they will go back down the TKM straight. Now, is this going to be the moment of truth for our man in second place? Barty trying to get his way up the inside. Harrison's being ultra defensive, too much so. He drifted out wide, and that's enough for Barty to snatch the lead. Good move there from Barty. He really lent on that through the apex of Kestrel and lined it up nicely for Kimbolton corner. Now he's having to defend himself as they go into Stowe and back out to the Willows. A really good move from Barty to take the lead of this one. Harrison in second.
Baxter in the yellow bodywork there can make him out. He's there in fourth place as we have a look at the action from the drone, but he looks like the man to me, Jake, who's on the move. He's the fastest man on the track as things stand at the moment. Baxter in fourth is going to be a player as this race winds down.
So down the TKM straight up towards Kestra once again. Our leading three still Barty, Harrison and Saunders. Saunders looking closer than he has been in the couple of laps that we've seen from him, and he's got a better line out of the turn there, out of Kim Bolton corner back onto the hind straight than Harrison, so he may get a chance of second, but Harrison is already dialed in to try and focus on Barty. Into Stowe, back on the power, not too much curb on the exit, through the willows, right, left, right, and onto the Yamitsu straight, up towards Derricks once again. This is another opportunity here for the second place man Harrison to tighten up his grip and move closer in to the race leader. Now, where is Gaillard on the 74? He has set the fastest lap of the race and is closing in on the back of that group led, well, I suppose the first man is Reese Miller that he's trying to catch up to.
Well, he's up to 20th place, isn't he? Right at the back of the field. He was at the front of the field,
21st because of Tom Johnson. Still that timing issue, of course, because he's Tom Johnson's still in the top 10.
Right,
it's
yes.
corrected. So
you're right.
He's caught the back of the field, but he hasn't made the move. Now, this is going to be the interesting one up the inside. That's Harrison through up the inside of Barty, but Barty's going to get him straight back again. Now, interestingly, have you seen the back of Saunders' car? It looks to me as if the bumper is broken.
He's going to get a mechanical flag for that. What an absolute sickener. I'm not sure how that's happened, whether it's a loose... Is it a loose bolt? It's just come off.
I think the bumper's actually snapped in half if you look at it. Yeah, look, it's snapped in half.
You're right.
That's a really obscure break. But unfortunately, the way it's dragging off the kart, that unfortunately is game over for Saunders. Surely he is, as you say, going to get the mechanical flag for that. And that is going to promote the number 11 of Spencer Lane, who's been making his way up through the field to third. Back at the front, Harrison dives up the inside of Barty, who again charges back on the inside in retaliation. He's straight back through. This is heart-wrenching eventually for Saunders, because he's going to receive the mechanical flag for that. There's no way that's legal anymore.
Yeah,
what a shame.
It's all over the place. I'm not sure. I don't think he's had contact from behind. It may be just the stress on the kart, on that rear bumper, as the kart twists through the corners.
Oh dear,
maybe
look
it's
at
just
it.
snapped, but he's definitely going to get a mechanical flag. They must have seen that.
Yeah, there it is.
There you go.
It is.
Mechanical flag is out. He'll see that on the digi board as he goes through the line.
What a
shame.
shame.
There is a digital display board as he goes through the line. He will get to see that, and he will have to leave the track.
Well, at the moment, obviously, he's still racing on. He can't really slow up too fast because he's got a massive queue of karts behind him, so he has to follow in formation, and he'll peel off on the exit of Kim Bolton corner. The pit lane entrance is around there, so that's such a shame, though. He was driving such a good race up until that point.
Spencer Lane, the novice, Jake, put in the fastest lap.
Yeah, he's trying to catch up to these three, and I think he may have spotted the digi flag. He may have seen that the man in front of him, Saunders, has been given a mechanical flag, so he's done the math and thought, well, there's only two ahead of me now. That's a podium. Yeah. I could actually get the win. There's still 4.5 minutes left of this race. I can win this, never mind third. So he's going after it. Saunders has gone through. He has not pulled into the pits as yet. Now,
he's hadn't now. I tell you what,
he's got to be careful here.
He's got to be very careful, because the clerk of the course will take a very dim view of the fact he has had 2 warnings, 2 mechanical flags so far.
Oh, it's Barty on the inside, and he's taken the lead back. Barty and Harrison side by side, but you're absolutely right. Saunders in third position. Now, the rule is you are not allowed to ignore that mechanical flag more than twice.
And actually, I'm not even sure that's a rule, that you can ignore it twice. When you see it, you have to come in immediately. I'm not sure. I mean, I know people go on about, oh, you can have 2 laps to think about it, and then you've got to come in.
Well, this is going to be the
third
third
time.
Straight
away. I think he may have seen it now.
Well, this is going to be the third. Yeah, there he is. There it is. He's put his hand in the air. He knows now. Well, he was so busy focusing on the guys in front. He's now put his hand in the air. He's not pulled off, though, has he?
Not pulled off. And now he gets a black flag, and he has incurred the ire of the clerk of the course, so he's not happy with the fact that he's had 2 mechanicals. He's gone through the line twice, 2 mechanical flags on the digi board. He's either not seen them. Listen,
it's arguable.
Above, I mean, sometimes.
Yeah, he's waving them through. He's waving them through. He knows he's got it. Well, he's got no choice. Oh, and there was a spin behind them, actually. Somebody went off there on the way out of Dan Weldon. Not sure exactly who, but Saunders, unfortunately, has realised he's had to pull it off. And the thing is, if he'd have... oh, that is the 20 that's gone. So that's Ashley Turner. That's a real shame. So Turner was the one who spun it up at Dan Weldon. But yeah, unfortunately for Saunders, the thing is, out on the track, he did absolutely nothing wrong. But that's not the point. That's not the point. If your kart is not legal and it's causing problems, and it could end up, you know, that bumper could have fallen into the kart behind of the 11 of Lane. Although now it's not the 11 of Lane, it's Ben Higgins. Ben Higgins has charged his way forward. Goodness me, he was outside the top 10 at the start. I tell you what, Ben Higgins up to third on the 30. That's a chip off the old block, isn't it?
It certainly is, isn't it? His dad, we know, is a fantastic driver. Fans of the James Bond movies will know him. Well, you won't perhaps know him to look at, although I think he has got an on-screen appearance in a movie.
He has a
past,
couple of
either or
times.
coming up.
Oh,
But you might not see him, his face, but yeah, he will be the man driving the Aston Martins very fast.
That's a big dive from Archie Adkins. He made a lovely switchback move there, but back on the inside, Alex Roberts trying to get his position back. So some really good dueling through the field as we watch Baxter in front of Jarmusteed, 5th and 6th position. They run in position once again. Katie Pritchard appears to have fallen out of the top 10, but she's got time to fight back. That is the 30 going through. That's Higgins. So Lane has got him back. So Lane back into 3rd position on Higgins as these guys continue to battle all the way through to the death. There's a minute and 30 to go, but this is the TKM Festival. You never know what's coming next, so there's no point in throwing in the towel early. Across the line, that was the battle for 7th place we were watching. Charlie Flynn leading it, but the leading 3 or 4 karts absolutely together now. Higgins has caught up to these two along with Lane, so as these two continue to defend, they're going to have a little bit of a traffic jam here, and as well, they've got Turner in front of them, who's got back in the kart. Up the inside, that was a bit of a dive from Barty. Beautifully done, though. I didn't think the move was on there at all. I don't think 64 Harrison thought it was either. Now he's having to fight back. He gets back to the inside. Barty to his left. Up on the inside comes Higgins to move into 3rd position. It could end up being 2nd by the time they get to Stowe. There's the Heinz Straight. Still in the last position there, Ashley Turner trying to fight his way forward. How about this? 4 abreast through Stowe, and there's contact!
Oh.
That is a slip for Higgins and the 64 of Harrison. Whoa, 34, Barty's gone as well.
Spencer Lane got away with that. He managed to pick his way through. It was Billy Baxter on the 86 who's gone straight to the front of the field from 5th.
Let's watch
Here's
again.
a replay.
So Lane just about managed to stay out of trouble here, but look, this is what happens when 3 guys go together. Barty made the move there on Harrison. They just clattered as Harrison spun. He ended up tagging the 34. It was the 30, sorry, that made the move on the inside.
Yeah,
that would have been Ben Higgins making the move.
Yeah,
He just clipped the 64, and that's what pitched him around, and unfortunately he went into the back of Barty. There was nothing he could do. Lane got on the brakes and managed to avoid damage, but he's now down to 4th behind Baxter, Jarmusteed and Charlie Flynn. Goodness me, though, he's still there in the top 5. He could still make a challenge. We're into the final stages of the race, though. They just had enough time to get 2 laps to go as they came across the line on the time. So the next lap is going to be the final lap. The 21 in the mix here as well, Lewis Mackey. So there's 5 of them in the mix.
Did you see the smile on Billy Baxter's face, Jake, as he saw those 3 tangling and the 11 Spencer Lane getting delayed? He managed to pick his way through, but not fast enough. He had to hit the brakes, lost all his momentum, and Baxter said, oops, thanks guys, 5th to 1st in 1 turn.
What was that? 90 seconds ago I said, don't give up, because you never ever know what's going to happen in the TKM Festival, even in the Festival Cup final. Up the inside, that is a nice move there from Charlie Flynn up at a 2nd, and I think Spencer Lane's going to get through in a 3rd as well. No, it's very tough to tell. Lane's been caught out there. He tried to hold it round the outside. He now drops to 5th as these two battle away for 3rd. Mackey trying to come through. He's not quite able to get on the inside of Jarmusteed there. There's a bit of a timing issue. He's dropped back, but he is still in there in 4th place. But Billy Baxter in the 86 has done it absolutely to perfection. He just kept digging, kept the faith, kept pushing, and when the opportunity opened its doors, he walked straight through. He takes the victory. William Baxter with a victory in the Festival Cup in Junior TKM. That's a nice way to finish his weekend from Charlie Flynn and Jarmusteed in 3rd position. A great finish then to the Festival Cup race here in Junior TKM. Commiserations to Harrison, Barty, and of course to Saunders, all of them in the mix. But it's Baxter who takes the victory in fantastic style from Charlie Flynn and Marcus Jarmusty. Lewis Mackey beats Spencer Lane over the line, with Ben Higgins in a very disappointed 6th position considering where he could have been. Guyard and Porter given a post-race front-fairing penalty. Otherwise, all clean here at Kimbolton.
William, I'm sure you didn't expect to be here because there was such a big change in that race.
I actually didn't expect to be there at all. No, I thought I was like in second the whole race.
So fantastic result for you, and probably your best result ever, is it?
Yeah, it actually is.
So you've had a really good weekend.
At the start, no, but at the end, yeah.
Good. So it's a good weekend for you, and then likewise for you as well, because you were way back down in the field, and then suddenly it just all blew up.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was pretty odd, but I tried my best.
So William Baxter wins your Junior Festival Cup. Time to decide the winner of the TKM Extreme Festival Cup here at the Maxis TKM Festival next.